Hey friends, I'm Maggie from hand2mind. Welcome to our 4th grade math Teach at Home video series. This week we're going to continue to talk all about shapes, specifically rectangles. Today is week 7, day 2, and we are going to be talking about creating rectangles with a given area. Let's get started.
Thanks again for joining me in today's lesson. We're going to be talking about creating rectangles with a given area. So Theo's class is learning all about area. His teacher gives him the task of creating rectangles that all have an area of 8 square units. What are the rectangles that he can create? So for this, we are going to use our Braining Camp app website and our color tiles to help us. If you can access this app, it's a great tool to help us visualize area and rectangles. If you don't, you could always draw out the rectangles, or maybe you have our color tiles at home, which would be even better. So we know that Theo's teacher gave us the task of finding rectangles that have an area of 8 square units. So, 8 square units. This is going to be an area of 1 square unit, 2 square units, 3, 4. These are all squares. They all represent 1 square unit. Okay? So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Now, our task is to find how many different rectangles we can build with these 8 tiles. So, if I start and I say to myself, well, if I want the height or the length of it to be 1 unit tall, where would the rest of these tiles have to go? If I just wanted a height of 1, could they go here? No, that would be a height of 2. So I would have to keep them along a straight line. Now, if I continue to add, and we look at our rectangle, does this form a rectangle? It sure does. It has 4 right angles, and then the opposite sides are equal. The left and the right side are both 1 unit. The top, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, is 8 units long, and the bottom is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 units long. So this is one example where the length is 8 units, and the width is 1 unit. So this is our first example rectangle. Now, can anyone think of a different way? I'm going to put 8 more back out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I want you to think out loud or maybe explain to the person sitting next to you, how could we try to find another rectangle out of these 8 tiles or these 8 square units? Did anyone say since we started with a height or a length or width of 1, we can move on to doing 2? And we can do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good, that would be another example. Here I have my width would be 2 units, and the length would be 4 units. So I would have a length of 4 units and a width of 2 units. Awesome. Now, both of these are still showing an area of 8 because they have 8 of these square units inside of them. We know they're rectangles because the opposite sides are equal to each other, and they have 4 right angles. So these are 2 examples that will show an area of 8 square units. Now if we flipped and we took our first rectangle and we turned it to make it taller, I'm just sketching, and it had it was 1 by 8 looking more vertically, that would be the same array of squares here. Likewise, if we were to take this bottom rectangle and we were to rotate it, and now we had 4 and 2, it's the same arrangement, we just rotated in this case. So they're the same thing, so we have 2 different ways we can model an area of 8 square units. So in our next example, it says the area of a rectangle is defined as the number of squares that make up the rectangle. Draw and label the rectangle in the grid below. So first, let's look at rectangle A. It says rectangle A is 4 units by 3 units. So we're going to pick a starting point. So if you're doing this along with me, go ahead and pick a starting point. And from that point, I am going to find 4 units. So I'm going to go 4 units along. So 1, 2, 3, 4. From that same starting point, I'm then going to go 3 units down. 1, 2, 3. So there's my length and my width, my dimensions of my rectangle. So I know if the top is 4 units, the bottom has to be how long, guys? Shout it out. Good, 4 units. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if my left side is 3 units, my right side has to be 3 units. Wonderful. So let's go ahead and label this as a 4 by 3 rectangle, and this is rectangle A. Awesome. For our next one, for rectangle B, it is 2 units by 7 units. So again, I'm going to pick a starting point. So I'm going to pick my starting point, and I am going to go horizontally. I'm going to go 2 units. So that's just 1, 2 units. Then I'm going to go down from the left side, starting at my starting point, 7 units. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if my top side is 2 units long, my bottom side has to be 2 units long. If my left side is 7 units, my right side has to be 7 units. So then I'm going to go ahead and label this rectangle as a 2 by 7 rectangle, and again, this is for rectangle B. Okay, our next question says that, again, the area of a rectangle is defined as the number of squares that make up the rectangle. Draw 3 different rectangles that all have an area of 28 square units. So again, that's the 28 square blocks. In this case, the grid is already showing those blocks for us, so we need each rectangle to have an area, or the space inside of our shape, to be 28. So thinking back to what we did on the first problem with Theo and his class, we started with a height of just 1 unit. So let's say we do that here. We just do a height of 1 unit. Oops, 1 unit. How many units long does it need to be to have an area of 28? If we're just doing a width of 1, it has to have a length of 28. Awesome. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Looks like we need to come this way all the way. 28. So this whole thing, this whole top row would be my rectangle. And the dimensions of this rectangle, I'm just outlining it so you guys can see it. The dimensions, the length would be 28 units. The width would just be, how tall is it? 1 unit. And again, the area would be 28 square units. And I'm going to write it as units squared. Awesome. Let's think of another way. Well, if we did, instead of 1 unit as the width, what if we did 2 units as the width? So let's see, 2 units as the width. We did a width of 2. How long would we have to take it? Well, here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. So there's my area of 28. So I'm going to go ahead and box that in. So I have a width of 2 and a length of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So again, my length of this is 14 units, and my width is 2 units, and I still have an area, or the number of squares on the inside is still going to be 28 square units. Now there's 2, so it's asking us to think of 3 different ones. Can anyone think of a third different one? Go ahead and tell the person next to you, or maybe you're talking out loud to me, is there a way to find a third rectangle? Sure, so if we wanted to do a height of 3 or a width of 3, could we do a width of 3? Let's try. So we did a width of 1, a width of 2, so now we're trying 3. So there's 1, 2, 3. So now I'm going to count 28. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Does that form a rectangle? It does not. So what if we were to go then to 4? Did anyone say 4? Good, so here's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So here's my width of 4. And let's go ahead and count 28 square units. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Notice how it forms a rectangle. And what are the dimensions? So what is the length of our rectangle? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units long. And what about the width? 1, 2, 3, 4 units. And it still has an area of, good, 28 square units. Awesome job. So those are the 3 different rectangles we can create, all that have the exact same area. Thanks again for joining me today. For more resources, please check out